Salute to you all. The brave never fall. The two most powerful warriors are patience and time. The two most powerful warriors are patience and time. I love that quote because I am a big backer and person who pushes patience upon anyone who is definitely trying to recreate themselves, but also people who are in life and they're a bit out of control and they're trying to regain some center. Patience will help you with that, because sometimes when you want change quickly, and the best change happens over time. And of course, being a warrior, that's what the Brave Never Fall is all about. It's about being brave, bold, being a warrior, not so much in combat, not so much in confrontation, not so much in chaos and conflict, but with yourself. You are a warrior every single day you wake up, because you are at war with yourself. You're in constant battles every single day with yourself, every moment, every single time that second hand clicks around that clock. You are at war with yourself. You're overcoming things. Your mind is at battle with you all the time. It's testing you, and it's not in a position where it loves you or hates you because it's you. Your mind is doing what it was designed to do. Your mind is testing you. It is wanting you to either be comfortable or push yourself. But most of all, I feel a measured balance about yourself will give you the best of both worlds. There's nothing better than being comfortable after you've earned your comfort through pushing yourself further than what the brain probably wants you to go. When your brain is telling you to stop and you keep going, and your brain says, okay, I'm going to shut down, let the body take over, that's a victory. You've balanced yourself out. Once it's over, your brain says, you push yourself, here's your reward. I'm also going to shut down a little bit while you get to relax. You've earned your relaxation. You earned your comfort for that day. And if you look at it for days upon days upon days, that adds up to a quality individual, a valuable life, and you find self-love that you will never find if you don't push yourself past that point of being comfortable. And again, I've said this so many times, there's nothing wrong with being comfortable. It is your life. You live it the way you feel you should live it. But if you're listening to this, you probably want to go beyond that. You want to go a little bit further. The Brave Never Fall is all about that. It's all about being a warrior of your mind. It's about winning those little battles, those little small victories every single day. When you wake up in the morning, get that first victory as fast as you possibly can, because it will set the tone for the rest of the day. I think about time a lot. Some of my favorite movies of all time deal with relativity and time. I've said this a lot. Christopher Nolan is one of my favorite directors, and if you watch the movie Interstellar, it is an incredible emotional adventure, I would say, of the human soul. There's a lot of things in the movie that's not believable at all, but the concept is what we're talking about here. The concept is about transcending love through time. And how can we actually make love a physical manifestation of something we can actually manipulate in a positive way to reach people, even ourselves, in other dimensions. Now, that's a very long-winded way of saying through time, you can find yourself. Through time, you can find self-love. And through time, you can affect others with the love you find for yourself. Meaning, the value that you put upon yourself, that you find throughout life, will rub off on other people in time. In time. Again, let's read that quote. The two most powerful warriors are patience and time. Patience. This is huge. It's a huge thing. Too often people fail because they have not gotten past the threshold. They've fallen so far ahead of their threshold that they didn't even give themselves the opportunity to experience a massive victory for themselves. There's nothing wrong with falling as long as you get back up and you keep going and getting those small victories, because those small victories those are the things that are going to get you past that threshold, those invisible walls that you see on the horizon. You have to make sure that you know where some of those walls are. There are boundaries. We all have boundaries, but they can be walked past. You can get through them. You can get over them. You can go under them. There's always a way around a boundary. They're there. And again, some of those invisible walls you won't see until you run into them. But once you're there, you have to figure out how to get through them. That's where the small victories come in to add up to the whole. Again, I will always repeat quotes that I feel are relevant to the topic. Will Smith says about building a wall. You don't seek out to build a giant wall. You seek out to build the wall one brick at a time. You make a perfect brick. You set that brick down perfectly, and you do that over and over and over again. And eventually you will have a wall through time and patience. Through time and patience. Patience is the key word there. Because if you get frustrated with yourself because you want something that hasn't materialized for you yet, you feel like there's an outcome that should be easy for you and it seems to be extremely difficult and you're not understanding why. The why is because it's supposed to be difficult and you're not accepting that. It's not coming easy to you because you want it too bad, but you're not earning it. We all want a lot of money. We all want to win the lottery. How many people have actually done that? And even if you do win the lottery, how are you going to maintain that lifestyle? Can you match the amount of money you make after you win it? It's a mindset thing. You don't want to lose time by wanting things, having aspirations and goals for things that you're not really working towards. If you're not really working towards that goal, if you don't have a positive attitude about it, if you're having to find some very strange ways to motivate yourself for something you claim you want really bad, you're losing time. That clock is ticking, and it's ticking fast. It's ticking far faster than what you think. I believe when you're working towards a goal and you are motivated, self-motivated, you want that goal back worse than anything, but at the same time, you're accepting the fact that it's going to be hard. You've already prearranged in your mind, this is going to be a difficult task. The plan has been set ahead. You're trying to put all of the bricks in the right place at 100%, and you're doing it as efficiently and effectively as possible. You're looking up at the goal because you don't want to lose time. There's another quote that I love. Lost time is never found again. You can only do that so much. You can only go to the well of losing time and wasting time so much before you actually start drowning in it. Drowning in lost time. That's what we call a black hole if you're talking about interstellar. The warping of space-time. You're warping your own life when you start wasting it. It's the equivalent of being sucked into a black hole. You're being pulled away from those thresholds you need to be trying to run as fast as you can. Again, relative time. Fast as you can means in relative time through patience, meaning you're staying focused on the goal. The only thing that's going to be moving fast is your determination to get through each moment as effectively and efficiently as possible. But that's relative to the slowing down of time of patience and understanding that this is going to take a long time. You can move as fast as you can with determination and effectiveness and efficiency. That's fine. I encourage that. I think it's healthy. I do it every single day. I try to get through every task as quickly as possible so I can get to other tasks that I really want to get to. But that's relative in the overall scheme, meaning that fast-natured process for me, that plan I set out for myself to make sure everything I do quickly, that means that's opening up more room so I can actually get to things that I really want to do. And that's going to aid me into getting over those thresholds. The things that I really want to do is what's going to help me get over those thresholds, not the mundane tasks and chores and bill paying and all the things that we do in life that we hate, we'll call quote unquote adulting. Not those things. The things that bring you true value, the things that would define you as an individual, because everybody has to pay taxes and go to work and do all these things in adulthood that we are forced to do. We're uniform in that. What makes you unique is the things you're doing outside of that. the things that you do, your hobbies, things that make you special and unique. You have to rearrange yourself when you start a trek. And I think a lot of times when people start to recreate themselves, they want to go forth with the same pieces they had all along. And if you have a nice, stable foundation, if your life has been built on really good morals and you've had a path that has had some difficulties, but you already know some of the things you did wrong, you've gotten over and forgave people for things they've done wrong, you've forgiven yourself, you've prepared yourself, you're ready. You've organized your life to the point when you step up to your new path and you're ready to commit to recreating yourself and get to the best version of yourself, and you're ready to accept and challenge anything and everything. This is the point where you kind of become your own warrior. And then again, we use that word warrior because you're going to be going to battle with more times than not with yourself. The other people in your life, you can choose to go to battle with some of these people, and some people you really don't have a choice to quote unquote battle with them. You know, you're going to have family members you disagree with. You're going to have bosses you disagree with, coworkers, children. There are people in your life you're going to have disagreements with, but they're not in your head. Not all the time, unless you let them. The one person you're going to be battling with more than anyone all the time in your head is going to be you, yourself. That's the funny thing about life, is that it doesn't really matter. You don't have time to worry about what all these other people are saying because you have a big enough battle in yourself. Those quadrants, those 4 quadrants, your mind, your body, your heart, and your soul, all of those things, that's the focal point. You don't have time to worry about all these other things. They'll work themselves out through you. When you work yourself out, all the other things will work themselves out without you even having to worry about it. I've always said, if you increase your value as an individual, all those other things that you used to worry about and care about, they just seem like they just fade into the background, and you get to go and pick and choose when you want to interact with these things, people, and places whenever you want. Because you realize you are the focal point. This is your life. You have to start with you. And if you don't balance yourself out and get yourself figured out, figure out what you're passionate about, and start working towards those things, you're going to live in misery. You're going to live in misery. The book you write for yourself is going to be filled with chapters of misery. The good thing about books is that they're just drafts until you say it's the final draft. And even the final draft can be revised. So if you've already written the book of your life and you have all these things in there and you feel like your timetable in your book was just all messed up. Like one chapter is here and then you jump to over here and it's discombobulated and you realize that chapter should have been over here. And what happened there? Why is this happening in this chapter? It should have happened over here. You have a chance to recreate and rewrite and revise that draft because your story hasn't been written. You're in a draft phase. You're in a draft phase. Time is the wisest counselor of all. And that's another huge quote that I love. Time is the wisest counselor of all. It will teach you the things to help you better write a much better draft about yourself. Because you can look back on those memories. They're almost like counseling sessions. But the good thing about it is the counselor is you, your mind. And you get to have as many sessions as you want because they're free. The only thing that comes for a price with them is what you do when you're done thinking about these things. You're going to do something about it, or you're going to take those sessions and not learn from them, continue to make the same mistakes, continue to walk forward being afraid, allowing excuses to run every moment of your life. You hear that clock ticking and you're not doing anything about it until the pressure gets on, and then you want to start moving fast. You start breathing heavy. The anxiety starts to kick in and you realize you didn't do your homework. And there goes another chapter, an out of place, miserable chapter that you wrote for yourself. Luckily, that happened yesterday. Today's today. Go back in that draft book that you've been writing, take that page, don't rip it out, leave it. You're going to flip the page and you're just going to keep writing. Because you want to go back to that other page to see if you make another page that's pretty similar, what is similar and what is different? Now, how do you feel about that? Because again, this is your book. It's your life. Each battle that you have in your mind has to be a victory that you have earned through effort. You have to get over the fact that you want things to be easy. You have to get over the fact that you want every second of your day to be comfortable. You have to accept that you can't control other people. You have to accept that you're going to fail. You're going to have to accept that you're going to be hungry. You're going to be tired, exhausted. You're going to wish for that. You're going to want for this, and it's not going to come. Some things will never come in your life. You have to accept that now. But you also have to accept that anything and everything can happen to you. That's called optimism. That's called being positive. That's called manifesting things that will and can and should happen to you because you deserve it, because you've done your homework for yourself. You've committed to taking that draft, that miserable draft, that book you wrote, and recreating a new one. One that maybe you're not writing in the present moment. You're writing in the future. That's called manifesting. You're organizing your life. Write down in your book all the things you want to do. What type of person you want to be. You should be. You should have been. You would have been. It doesn't matter. What you want to be and who you want to be is entirely up to you. The moment is not over. Again, you are living in the moment, and people will perceive you how you are in this moment. You can change whenever you want. At any moment, you can snap your finger. I'm done with a certain aspect of my life that's negative. I tell you it works because I do it all the time, and I have done it. When you want something to stop, stop it. That sounds easy. It's not. That's why it's so beneficial, because it's not easy. It's very hard to just take a moment to say, I recognize this place, this person, this thing is a negative aspect of my life, and I'm going to distance myself as far from it as I possibly can, and if I can, eliminate it entirely from my life. However, I'm not going to go too fast with it because, like anything in life, change takes time. Yes, you can change it in a moment, but working it into your routine and your lifestyle and your purpose, your discipline, your self-discipline, your self-love for yourself will determine whether or not that outcome that you projected for yourself that you don't want anymore, that it would pan out, or if you're going to let it sneak back into your life again. That's the challenge, right? Because time doesn't stop. It keeps going. And nothing is entirely out of your life forever. You would never rid yourself of malevolent people, evil, temptation, addictions, all these things that make us comfortable and make us freaked out. That whole range, that whole spectrum, it's never going to go away. You're going to be tempted by it your entire life. What you push away from your life and what you keep is entirely up to you. You can count the days all you want, whether or not you want to continue the days that you've had that have dragged you down, sucked you into those black holes, or you can really get on the ball and start trying to figure out what you want to do, what you want to change for your life. Because there are so many things now. This isn't the 1950s where you don't have resources and things. You can get on your phone or any computer and find help. And you can find examples, and you can find inspiration, motivation. You can find anything you want now. Which is why I always say to people, there is no excuse anymore for anyone to live in misery, because there is a way out. But I also feel like this is the time we live in now where everybody is talking to everyone. The world is more connected than ever, that you can get lost. You can get lost. You can feel like you don't exist, even though the world seems like it's more connected than ever. People don't need to just talk to you. They can talk to their friend in Japan now. They can talk to their friend in New Zealand. They can talk to their friend in wherever. It makes it real difficult to find a nice, genuine person to identify with, to give you motivation, to give you positive energy. I say that that's not entirely the case, because it's entirely upon you. You attract the people that are similar to you. If you feel like you're a nobody and you don't want to do anything about it, then you have to accept what you've created for yourself. If you feel like you're codependent and you can only be happy if someone else is in your life and you can't travel your journey alone, that's the type of life you're going to live. Those are the emotions you're going to have to live with. I say you have to start with yourself. You have to start with your mind. You have to stop making excuses. You have to accept that it's a nice, long journey. And I say nice because a good journey, just like any journey in a movie, the most interesting journeys in films are the ones that have a nice balance of ups and downs, because we can relate to that. We know what it feels like to overcome something or someone, some place, some darkness. We know what that feels like. But you don't have to just get it from watching a film or reading a book or listening to someone else's story. You can live that story yourself. You can write that book for yourself. And the best part is you're creating it yourself. You are a creator. Everything around you was created. You're no different. You're a part of this world. You're a creator too. You can create yourself to be whoever you want. I'm a living definition of that. You ask anybody who's known me my entire life, they'll tell you the person I am now is not the person I was even 10 years ago. And it's because this version of me, even though I'm far from where I want to be, this version of me is the version I wanted to be ever since I was a kid. I just didn't know how to get there. But looking back on it, I realized it really wasn't my choice. Life had to guide me to where I am. And it will continue to guide me because there are so many things out of my control. I have a path that I walk on, but I don't always have the choice of where it's going to lead. I didn't lay down the path. I'm walking it and I'm making choices. And there are points in the path where they will fork off and I would have to make decisions for myself. But you have to accept all of that and realize that it's about time and patience. You have to be patient with this journey. You have to be patient with the outcomes, with the scenarios, with all the ups and downs. Don't just get so happy about the victories. You also have to be happy about the failures because they're going to give you even bigger victories because you're supposed to learn from them. Learn from each failure, each disappointment, each loss. Forgive yourself. Forgive other people. Get hate out of your heart. Get weakness out of your mind. Try to become a person who is battling your mind in a healthy way and getting those victories. Adding positive people to your life. Adding value to your life. It all works out in time. In time. If no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Salute to you all. The brave never fall.